How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer here, Wrestling Observer Radio. It's September 2nd, 2018, Figure 4.
It's September 1st.
No, it's September 2nd.
Well,
it's past midnight.
Well, I'm on the West Coast, and we got two more hours.
Everyone else is on the East Coast.
We've got 2 more hours.
We're here in a hotel.
I guess technically it's just past midnight.
That's right. Technically, it's past midnight. We're here in a hotel, video.f4wonline.com if you want to see us recording a show after All In a hotel room. It's very exciting.
With no sleep for a couple days.
That's right. We're looking like zombies.
Really?
Although
Are we looking like
less
zombies?
zombie-like than some of the people that we saw at
Much less.
the
Much
hotel.
less. Much less than most.
But anyway, we've got a lot to talk about as I try to make it through the show here today. We went to All In.
Yeah, we should have.
Very historic show.
It feels
I
like
thought it was awesome.
It feels like it was a really historic show. Yeah, yeah. It was really long.
It was very long.
Yeah.
It was very long. So the big story, since everybody's asking, is why was it rushed? And the answer is they had a 4-hour pay-per-view window. They had to be off the air by 10 o'clock.
Not by 58 minutes after.
58 minutes after. 10 o'clock, basically. They couldn't go to 10:30.
No.
And so
it's too bad because if they would have gone to 10:30, if they would have been able to go to 10:30, the main event probably would have been like a 5-star match.
Yep. The main event got cut from 28 to
12.
Yep. They got half of the match cut, so they
More
could
than
get off
half.
the air in time. I guess the Hangman Page match went long, and then the
Marty Scurll
match went long. So
went way long. Marty Scurll match went 12 minutes long.
12 minutes long. So 12 minutes got cut off the main event.
No. 16.
Well, I mean, that 12 got cut off the main event.
Yeah.
The point of it is it got cut down to 12 minutes, and they had as good a 12-minute match as you could possibly have.
It was
Fans went nuts for it.
It was totally awesome, but
yep.
You know, and they actually, like, they were told they had to get out at 58. I guess they'd made a deal that they could get it to 59.
Yep.
And so they told them to go to work to the finish, so they would land at 58, and they were slow. And I think they got the finish in with
it
30,
literally was like 12 seconds left.
something like that. Somewhere
Yeah.
between 30, I've heard as little as 3, but it probably was about 15 seconds. Yeah, they just like yelled Meltzer driver, and they went right to it as quick as they could. So,
Yeah.
So it's too bad because there was an incredible amount of talent in that match, and they didn't get to show everything that they could do by any means. And I mean, that tease of Rey Mysterio and Kota Ibushi tore the freaking house down.
Yep.
There were a lot of things that tore the house down tonight, but that was one of them.
Well, the thing I want to say about it is when we did the 5-star or 4-star summit or whatever we called it with Bruce and Wade of the Torch, we were talking about this show and what somebody could expect if they watched it.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about how WWE, you get a bunch of matches, they're all relatively the same. But on this show,
We got
you're going to
everything
get
was
surprises, you're going to get all sorts of different matches, you're going to get different styles. And literally, the thing to me about the show was everything that we expected going in, we got exactly that.
Exactly. It was almost exactly what I expected.
It was exactly like Flip Gordon, masked guy, won the Battle Royal, ended up getting onto the show.
I didn't know that, but it made perfect sense.
It made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like every surprise that they had, nothing was a surprise.
The only big surprise was Jericho.
But I mean, that made perfect sense that he would be there at the show. We were talking that he might be at the show.
Yeah, I thought
an angle with Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
But it was a show where, like, a lot of people talk about how they want to be, like, wrestling fans need to be surprised. There need to be swerves or this or that.
There were no swerves.
No, there were no swerves. You watch all of Being the Elite. Like,
everything, yeah.
This show was a year's worth of Being the Elite storylines that all wrapped up in a perfectly logical, rational way here on this show.
Yeah, I would say that. The thing that was so different, because this it's funny because when we were at the thing, everybody was talking about we want wrestling, we don't want sports entertainment, and this show was a lot more sports entertainment than wrestling.
Yes,
there was great wrestling matches, but this was not a New Japan show. It was nothing close to a New Japan show. There
were blow up penises that came down to the ring when Joey Ryan returned from the dead.
Yeah, but I mean the whole vibe of the show was, just a combination of old ECW, a combination of the Battle Royal was fantastic. You know, which we talked
Yeah,
about.
it was one
As
of the best battle royal.
It was one of the best battle
It was
royals
the
I've
best
seen.
battle royal I've ever seen. You could go back to the Cow
I would not
Palace.
say that, but it was the best battle royal I've seen in decades.
Yeah.
The Battle Royal was really fantastic.
In all of the time I've been watching wrestling, I have never seen a better traditional battle royal.
Yeah.
And granted, I had low expectations going in. I figured it wouldn't be bad, but there's
It was very
rarely,
well laid. It was very well laid out.
Yeah, there's rarely a good battle royal. This was an awesome battle royal.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean every match was what it should have been, other than it you know, the Marty Scurll match went too long.
Yep.
But I know why, because they had a story and they were coming off that Kenny Omega match, and that was a tough thing to follow. You know, following not just the Omega match, but the Jericho angle.
Yep.
I thought that as a match, the Omega Penta match I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really liked, it's funny because the crowd is interesting because the crowd would be quiet for long periods of time, and I'm almost thinking like, oh, they're getting tired, but they were saving every time that there was supposed to be pop. The pop was enormous.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that people were starting to get tired because it's hard not to on a long show, but they weren't so tired that they weren't going to react to everything that they should react to.
But okay.
They went crazy for every big spot.
Yeah.
And I mean, not like, you know, they cheered. They had enormous amounts of energy for when Kota Ibushi and Rey Mysterio got in the ring.
Oh, it was incredible. It was incredible.
5 hours after this show started.
Yeah.
So, I guess we should start at the beginning. Should we do All In first? Should we
Well,
start at the beginning of the weekend?
we should. Yeah, I mean, we could do All In first.
Let's do All In.
Yeah.
Because we can go backwards there because there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
But I mean, I think the overview of All In is more important than the match results, because this wasn't a show about match results. It's not like a show about angles building to
No, but there
anything.
were a lot of stories in the matches that were very important.
Yeah, but I think that it's still the important thing is what does this mean? And I really don't have an answer. But I mean, like, I guess like some of
I have an answer. It was the same thing that I said yesterday in the panel. This is a group of fans who are tired of not getting what they want from WWE, and they're willing to pay an enormous amount of money and travel from all over to attend a show with a group of guys who are going to do everything they can to give you your money's worth and what you want to see.
money's worth and then some. I'm just wondering as far as, but what, you know, I definitely got the vibe, and of course Vince is going to do everything in his power to change this. And for people who think that he's not, he's already trying. I mean, it's already that's not like, oh, Vince doesn't need these guys. I mean, that's actually Vince could make more money with these guys than anything that he's done in years.
Yes.
So, but he won't. I don't think he'll ever sell that. But that's that. There's a reality to that. Yeah, I'm just wondering as far as but what does it lead to? I mean, there was no announcement of an All In 2.
No.
It really felt, and it was. I mean, I think one of the real keys, and because people didn't see this was after the pay-per-view ended. They all came into the ring, except for Marty, but it was, you know, Hangman Page and the families, you know, Brandy and you know, Dana Massey and some of the kids, and the father and the mother and everything like that. So they're all in the ring, and they're Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega did the goodbye speech, but Cody did a lot of talking, and I strongly got the vibe that they're not going anywhere, that they're, you know, they said they're going to stick together, which we already knew.
Yeah.
But I got the impression stick together means, you know, I mean, it certainly was open-ended in the sense that it was a message that, you know, WWE, if you want us, take all of us, which if WWE was smart, they would want all of them, because the more you get, the better your program is going to be when you're doing the, you know, whatever outsider insider thing. But, you know, Vince never does the outsider thing right. But I think that, you know, I got a strong vibe that they're not going anywhere.
Kenny, I don't remember exactly what he said in his promo, but he said something like, I know there's some people that want me to go to WWE. Or go somewhere. He didn't even say WWE.
He never used the word WWE.
I mean, everyone knew what he was talking about. They booed.
Yeah. The implications.
And he basically said, like, after tonight, like, everything has changed. And to me, I can't imagine him doing this show and everything changing being, I decided I want to go to WWE.
Well,
I mean, it seemed...
I don't think he was strongly going to go, because he lives...
I don't think he was strongly going to go either, but he made it clear that, like, I don't think that his plan right now is anywhere in the realm of WWE.
Well, I don't either, because it's like, here's the thing with him. This guy is, I don't know if this is the right word, but I'm going to use the word, and maybe he'll get mad at me later, but he's, okay, I'll use it in a way that he won't get mad at me. He's very driven to have a certain type of match, and, his match, when he goes in there, have his match, have it be, an incredible match. And in WWE, it's like he's not going to get that chance at that level, because he's not going to be working with the type of guys in some cases, even though there's some super talented guys in WWE, but he's not going to have control, and here it's like the match he had with Pentagon. I mean, it was like I can read a Kenny Omega match now that I see so many of them, and it was a Kenny Omega match. It was different, because it was a different opponent, but it was. It was the Kenny Omega match with Pentagon, I don't know that you get to do that. Cody in that NWA title thing, that was a real interesting moment.
That whole thing, the whole presentation of everything about it, I thought was, in some ways, it was my favorite thing on the show.
Really?
Yeah, he comes out there.
When he first came out, he was such a superstar.
Yeah, and he had his entourage. And
well, I really liked the entourage thing, but then they kicked him all to the back.
Yeah, but they came out with them.
Yeah, and both of them did.
Yeah,
because Nick Aldis had like Tim Storm and who did he have?
Jeff Jarrett was there.
Jeff Jarrett
and
let me get the names.
Anyway, while you're looking for them, the point was they both came out with an entourage. They both had these entrances. They started backstage. The big fight feel. They got in the ring.
The crowd was
the crowd was watching an old school world championship wrestling match.
They tried to do an old time NWA championship
and the
match.
Fans loved it.
Oh yeah, they loved it. But the dog was there too. Pharaoh.
Dog was there.
Pharaoh was the dog, the white dog.
Dog got a huge pop.
The dog.
Which was when I figured out. I didn't figure this out. It's patently obvious. This is not like deep knowledge, but you can get anything over if you do it right.
Well, look at the NWA title. That NWA title was so over. And the people were willing themselves.
They hated Aldis.
Well, yeah, that's different. But I mean, the whole thing is everyone here knows there is no NWA other than, I mean, it's videos and everything like that, and Billy Corgan owns it. But the NWA hasn't meant anything in a long, long time. I mean, obviously on this show it meant something, but
they made it mean something.
But they made it mean something. But everybody, if you do it right, and they did do it right, obviously in the build-up.
Yes.
If you do the build-up right, these fans were willing to accept what you give them as long as you do it right and with consistency. And I was watching it, and like the pop when Cody won, it was every bit. It was probably a better world title win pop than when the NWA title really was the NWA title. I mean, that's what I was thinking as soon as I saw it, the pop. It was like, this is like, when it was like when Dusty won.
Yeah.
And so it was, but just the whole thing, when the match started, the people were into it. Yeah, like you said.
It was a world championship match to them.
To give Nick Aldis credit, Nick Aldis, promo-wise and carrying the way he carried the match in certain ways, he was tremendous.
Yep.
As a world champion. He was that kind of arrogant, guy with the presence. He had a little thing with him. And Cody was your hero going for something viable. And he was so over you knew he'd be over as a babyface, but he was over as a babyface more than I expected. I mean, he was over.
He was
super over.
He was so over that there were two spots in the match. Like, there was one spot where he went down and Earl Hebner, the referee, holds up the X sign.
Right.
And it's like, oh, he may not be able to continue. And the babyface is just going to fight up. But he just laid there. And they brought DDP down, and DDP has to give him this pep talk, which when I describe this to you, it's kind of like he needed DDP to come down and give him a pep talk. But it worked. And then there was the other spot later where he's just selling, and Nick Aldis goes up top. He's going to do something.
And Brandy runs in.
And Brandy runs in and lays on Cody, which is like...
It worked.
It worked.
It worked, but I would have done something a little bit different.
I would have thought to do something different, but
maybe like
he was so beloved
that it didn't matter.
that it didn't matter. They wanted her to go in there and lay on top of him so that Nick Aldis wouldn't do an elbow off the top, which he did anyway and hit her.
Yeah, he did the elbow off the top on her.
And then when the thing was over and he's heading to the back, and these fans are just, he's a god to them. Cody Rhodes going to the back. I was like, this is one of the big fuck yous in the history of wrestling.
In what to Vince McMahon?
To Vince and to everybody
to everyone
that
who
was
doubted
like,
him?
he'll fail, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He was the king walking to the back on this show. They were so happy that he won the NWA title. I was just like in awe when he walked to the back after that match.
That was something real special. I don't want to say when Kerry Von Erich won that title from Ric Flair, which I was at, it wasn't as big as that. It couldn't be, because that was a much, many, that's because that was a 30-year quest, a 28-year quest from, of Fritz and then the kids all chasing that title. And it was at a stadium with 32,000 people. But there was elements that were similar.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's Dusty's son, that was a big part of it, is Dusty's son. But yeah.
I even felt when it was over, I hate the "You Deserve It" chant, but when I saw this whole weekend and this whole 1 year build and 10,000 tickets, and they chanted "You Deserve It" at Cody, I was like, this fucking guy does deserve it.
Yeah.
It's the first time I was ever like, I'm ready to chant that.
Yeah. Well, but also because of all the naysayers and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of all the naysayers. And it was the finish was basically he sat down on a sunset flip, right?
Yep.
Sat down, 1, 2, 3. I didn't even know it was going to be it didn't feel like that was the finish. There were some really cool near falls near the end, but when he did it, you know what? That one didn't matter what the finishing move was going to be.
Nope.
Because they were just ready to. They cared about. This was all about the result.
Yes.
This was a match. In that sense, it was similar to a Japanese championship match, and it really was. In the sense it was all about the result in the end. And he won, and it didn't, there were the twists and turns, and there was the figure 4 spot, and Cody bled. And, he was trying to do that. One of Cody's big idols is Ric Flair. So he was trying to do a little bit of that stuff. Wasn't there one Dusty spot in there? I was trying to remember what it was.
He was going for the elbows, and he got cut off.
Yeah. But the big spot where he bled was Aldis. Cody was doing a dive, right? The walk up plancha, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then Aldis nailed him with the elbow, and Cody comes up bleeding, and I guess was the idea that he was knocked out.
I presume that's why they held up the X, because they had him just stay down for a long time. So
right.
I presume, yeah.
Yeah. So he worked hard.
Yeah,
they both worked hard.
They all worked hard. Everybody in the show worked hard.
Everybody in the show worked hard. Well, look, how many people on this show do you think that this was the highlight of their career? I'll bet you more than a dozen. Maybe most. Maybe most.
Maybe not Okada.
Maybe not Okada.
But Omega said this was the greatest show he'd ever been a part of.
Yeah, but I don't think this was the greatest. I don't know that this show would be the highlight of his career over a Tokyo Dome show, but I think that it was.
He said the greatest show I've ever been a part of.
But that's a different thing. That's a different meaning. Well. But I think that every young guy, like the MJ. Well, it goes without saying, like guy like
yeah.
Max. But like all the women. I think it's Cody. This has to be his career highlight.
Yes,
has to be.
Bucks said it.
It has to be for the Bucks. It has to be the biggest night of their career. It has to be. Adam Page, Joey Janela, not even a chance that it's not. Marty Scurll has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be. He even said before.
Yeah.
That it was. So you go up and down. I would bet, realistically, with the exception of maybe Omega, Ibushi, and Rey Mysterio, I'll bet you this was the biggest night in the career, and both maybe Bully Ray,
Yeah.
maybe, and who knows what I didn't ask, but I'll bet you it was the biggest night of the career, and for almost everyone, it had that when worlds collide feel. Rey Mysterio said that after the show,
yeah,
that it felt like when
it felt like a very historic show.
Yeah.
Well,
this show will be remembered.
It was a very historic
This show will be remembered in 20 years.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever happens in the future, just because it was so, just everything about, just the uniqueness of everything, and it made no sense, if you know what I mean. And it made
no sense, but it made total sense at the same time.
No, yeah, I know. In a lot of ways, it made no sense under old standards but everything has changed.
Everything's changed,
and I think
yeah.
that's what this is a symbol of. The show is a symbol that everything has changed. And in that post-match thing, they were pretty much saying that.
Yeah.
Everything has changed. What that means, how this follows up, yeah, that's.
Well, let's go through these results here. We'll talk more about all the matches, and I'm sure remember 1,000 other things to talk about. The
Road Warrior Animal came out first, right?
He did. They had Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky versus the Briscoes, non-title match. And yeah, well, the show started with the Bucks coming out and
giving the speech, and they
gave a speech, and they shot merchandise into the crowd, and they talked about how great the fans were. They had pyro. That was another big FU. It was like, we're going to do a show. It's for you guys. What do you want? We're going to give it to you. We're not just doing a show that you're just paying your ticket and you're going to take what we give you. We're going to give you what you want. Yeah.
You know what else that was different is somebody was talking about like this in compared to SummerSlam, and I'm not talking about match quality or anything like that, but there was a vibe here with the fans that everyone was happy. Do you know what I mean? For the whole show, everyone was happy from start to finish. All the wrestlers, did you see how happy all those wrestlers were?
These wrestlers were so happy.
I mean, it's like I go backstage at another show, you see guys afterwards, and you have the frustrated guys, and the guys were whatever. Everybody was so happy. So anyway,
So yeah, they came in, they give their speech, they shot out some stuff, and then we had the Frankie Kazarian Scorpio Sky versus Briscoe Brothers match, which was good. Good opener.
I thought real good. I mean, It's hard for me to rate these matches because we were in the box, and I was, I could see how the crowd reacted and everything like that, but we were pretty far away. I mean, as far as like, I felt that was a really good match, though. I mean, for an opening match, they all worked hard. There was a lot of cool stuff. The finish was excellent. That was a great finishing spot where they set up the Doomsday Device, which is Chicago, the Road Warriors. That's what that's all about. Mark comes off for the clothesline, and Kazarian catches him in midair and turns him belly to belly, and they win the non-title match.
Yep. So then we had the over-budget Battle Royal, and this match was great.
It really was.
They brought everybody out.
It wasn't great as far as the wrestling. It was great as far as the match layout. So I guess the guys who deserve the credit there are Bully Ray, Joey Mercury, and BJ Whitmer, who, the guys in the match do. But I mean, as far as, there were so many spots, like every minute, it was like most battle royals, everyone's just kind of doing what they can or whatever.
Yeah.
This was laid out like a Royal Rumble, but not as long.
It was like
everything made sense.
Yep.
Everything built. When they were down to the last guys, I mean, when it was down to the last guys, I mean, my thought was like, this is the right last guy. Bully Ray was like, he had to be there at the end.
Yes.
He had to be. And he was the bully in the whole match. And the way, you thought he won. And then, so I guess the big thing is that the match starts and Chico El Luchador's in the match, but so's Rocky Romero.
Yes.
So that there's something going on with Chico El Luchador, but you don't think about it because the very first thing in the match is Bully Ray powerbombs Chico El Luchador through a table, and he's laid out, so you forget about him.
Yes.
You completely forget about him.
You know how much you forget about him? We're in the skybox, and so he gets powerbombed through the table, and we can see him the entire time.
Right. We're looking at, he's laying there the whole time.
And meanwhile, they keep wrestling, and every 3 minutes I remember he's there because I see his body laying there still in the rubble. But then, someone gets yanked out of the ring, someone gets taken out of the ring, and you're thinking there's a bunch of people on the ground. Keep watching the match, and finally it came down to 4 people, and I'm looking at the 4 people, and I thought, it's got to be like, they'll either do Jordan Grace, because they want a woman to win and have that big moment.
No, I knew that Jordan Grace would go to the end.
Or it'll be Bully Ray.
No, I didn't think it would be Bully Ray. I thought...
I had forgotten about Chico El Luchador.
Oh, no, so had I.
During these final moments.
So would I. No, I thought that it was going to be Colt Cabana.
Could have been Colt, yeah.
That's who I was thinking when it came down to everything. So they had... but I mean, it's like you got your Marco
Stunt, yep.
Marco Stunt got his spot. Jordan Grace got a bunch of spots.
Yep.
Billy Gunn got, to do his fame.
He actually got to do a lot of stuff. He was in there for a long time.
Yeah. He was in there for, but everyone got, I'm not saying everyone, but most of the guys, got to do something. You had a few surprises. You had Sean Devari was in there.
Yep. Devari was in there. Billy Gunn's son.
What's his name? Is it Chad?
I don't know. I forget, but...
Yeah, but he was Billy Gunn's son. He was there for a long time, and he was good.
We had no commentary, by the way, so if there are any stories told that we're unaware of, we were only watching it live.
Yeah.
So it comes down, and Bully Ray seemingly wins, and then all of a sudden, Chico El Luchador slides into the ring. The place just went completely nuts.
I don't think they knew it was Flip.
I think
they knew it was a surprise, but they didn't know who the surprise was.
I think they knew it was him when he got in the ring at the end. I don't think they had any idea up until that point, like when he'd been laid out.
I don't think I figured out it was Flip until when he was in the ring and I saw how he moved. Because when he first got back in, I didn't even think Flip. But then when I was watching kind of how he moved, it was like immediate, okay, it's Flip.
Yeah.
And then he unmasked and the place went completely nuts.
They went nuts. He tossed out Bully Ray, wins a shot at Jay Lethal. And just a great battle royal. And, dude, I hate battle royals.
Yeah.
There's so many horrible battle royals. I didn't think this one was going to be horrible because it was on All In. They were going to do some stuff.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to be this good.
Lots of dives and stuff.
Yep.
You usually don't do dives in battle royals because it's kind of like, but they just did them.
Yeah, and there was nothing, like guys didn't run into each other. They were very clever how they did everything. It was great.
Yep.
Moose, Brandon Cutler, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, Cheeseburger, Hurricane Helms, Ethan Page.
Ooh, he did a bunch of choke slams.
Yep, Tommy Dreamer
got over big. Dreamer got over big. Dreamer and Billy Gunn got pretty big reactions.
Yep, Jimmy Jacobs, Punishment Martinez, Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn, Marco Stunt, Brian Cage, Jordan Grace, Colt Cabana, Bully Ray, and the winner Flip Gordon. So yeah, that was great. So then.
The national anthem was even good.
Yeah, it was a great national anthem.
I mean, that's how they opened the show. You know what was so cool? This was one of the big pops of the show was the warning, don't steal.
Yeah.
At the beginning, that
it was a pay-per-view.
I think the fact that it's a pay-per-view, and you know what else? I think these fans really didn't want anyone to be stealing this pay-per-view.
Well, yeah.
Because there's something about the idea that you really like your promoter. Do you know what I mean?
You want them to make some money.
You want them to make some money.
Yes.
Oh, we got to talk about the merchandise line.
Oh, yeah. Well, so...
We got to talk about the merchandise line.
I will say this. There were only 2 merch booths.
Okay.
There should have been more.
Like 15.
But with that said, the line for this merch booth was the longest line I've ever seen for a merch booth in my entire life. Like, we came into the building, and there is a line of people, like, so far that you can't see the end of the line. And we were waiting for someone to come. They were going to take us to where we had to go. And we're just sitting there like, what is this line?
The line was
It was merch.
The line, I have been to concerts. I have been to Japanese wrestling in the Tokyo Dome. I've been to WrestleManias in stadiums. I have never seen a merchandise line this long.
Yes.
Football, any sport, any concert. It was just so long.
Yes.
And they sold out of all the all-in shirts.
Well, I should clarify this.
3:30.
I don't know if it was every shirt, but I know that there were people that were tweeting me that their size was gone by 3:30. So I don't know if it was every single one, but the show started at, 5?
Yeah, and the doors opened at 3.
At 3, so in 30 minutes.
But the whole point is everybody was, and at 5, knowing that it's a long show,
Yep.
the place was completely packed at 5.
When everyone was there.
At 3:30 or whatever it was maybe 4.
Yeah.
Okay, at 4 when we first looked at the crowd, it was like every seat was full except for the thousands of people that were in the merchandise
Yes.
line.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was like everybody was there at probably 3:30.
Yep. We had Matt Cross and MJF, which was the second time we saw MJF this weekend. And they also had a good match. Shooting star finish. MJF, all of his heel stuff that he normally does. He's actually a very, very good heel.
He's unique. He's going to make it.
You know what it is about him is it's kind of like he does everything that you do when you think you should be a heel, like the cheap heat, yelling at the fan stuff. but he does it to such a degree that it works. You know what I mean? Like a guy who sucked would do the same gimmick and it would suck. But he makes it work.
Well, I think the key is he's got a great interview delivery.
Yes,
and
great talker.
And he's got a ton of confidence.
Yes.
So that's the thing he's got going for him. I mean, like personality-wise, he's got it. His wrestling's smooth. I mean, I don't know that this match needed to be on the show. I mean, it was a good match, but it wasn't advertised. It was
not advertised.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that Matt Cross was on the show.
Well,
he wasn't in the Battle Royal, and so then it was kind of...
Yeah, they were both advertised for the show. I thought they were when the Battle Royal was going on. I didn't think Matt Cross for whatever reason, but MJF, because we'd seen him the night before.
Yeah.
I was going like, "Where's MJF? I know he's on the show." And then I was thinking like, they're going to add a match. So they opened with it. It was a nice opener. The people were into it. Matt Cross looked very good.
Yep.
He worked hard. He's very acrobatic. I thought it worked for what it was.
Sean Mooney interviewed Nick Aldis. Sean Mooney
good presence.
Yep, very good.
He's
cut a good promo.
He cut a good promo, yeah.
Yeah. Chris Daniels versus Stephen Amell.
It went too long.
It was too long.
Yeah.
I guess Stephen Amell wanted to have the greatest celebrity match ever, and
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did it.
But
given his level of experience, I'll just put it this way: I would not have done the match like this. But Stephen Amell wanted to do a real wrestling match where he was a real wrestler.
He as a real wrestler.
Chris Daniels the guy to do it with, but it was too long.
It was too long. It was built around two spots. One was coast to coast drop kick by Stephen Amell, and the other was the elbow through the table, right off the top rope through the table, which was pretty darn impressive. And Jerry Lynn was the referee, so he does the elbow. Yeah. He does the elbow through the table, and they're both lying and they're dead. So instead of a double count out with both guys selling it, Jerry Lynn throws them both back in the ring. And the crowd went crazy because Jerry Lynn got his spot in.
Yep.
Because Jerry Lynn got a great pop.
Yeah.
Talk about pop. Masao Hattori, Tiger Hattori. That was one of the biggest referee pops I have ever seen.
Yep. They had so many cool little things. Well, we'll get to them here on the show, but... yeah, when they introduced Tiger Hattori as a referee, place just went crazy for this guy.
I mean, I knew that he would get a pop, but I was blown away by the size of his pop.
So Daniels ended up hitting he went for the Angel's wings, and Amell reversed it, and then he cut him off, went up top, hit the best moonsault ever for the win, and good match. Could have been... shorter.
It was okay. I wouldn't call it. I mean, story wise, I would say it was a good match. Moves wise, it was fine. I just thought that because it went so long, like you could tell Mel looked like a beginner.
Yeah.
Like the selling and things like that. He, so I wouldn't. I mean, for Christopher Daniels and Stephen Amell to go 11.5 minutes, it was very good. But, on this show, it had to be the weakest match on the show. Had to be.
So we had Tessa Blanchard, Madison Rayne, Britt Baker, and Chelsea Green. And before the show, they had a deal for the press backstage. And Chelsea Green's there, and she's one of the people doing an interview. And she said that this was going to be the greatest women's match of all time.
She did say that, and it wasn't.
And when I heard that, I was like, oh, man. I was going into this match just thinking, oh, man. But you know what? They had a hell of a match.
They had a good match.
And Chelsea Green looked great, and Tessa Blanchard looked great.
Tessa Blanchard's a superstar.
Yep.
She's a superstar. They all look good.
Yeah.
But Tessa Blanchard, you know what? I know, here's something. When she came out, she came out with with Tully and Magnum were there. I don't think the people knew that was Magnum.
Yeah.
Because
I saw him at the hotel, and
there was no big pop for Magnum TA.
No.
I think if the people knew that was Magnum TA, they would have gone crazy. And I don't think they really knew it was Tully.
Yeah,
I think that some people did because, again, now you guys probably watching know that, but there was no graphic that Tully Blanchard Magnum TA. Because I think if they had a graphic that said Magnum TA, the place would have gone nuts.
Yeah, well, I think the thing too is when Road Warrior Animal comes out,
that was a big pop.
They make him look like Road Warrior Animal.
Yeah,
and Magnum does not look like
he can. He's
Magnum.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that doesn't matter.
totally,
But he's a famous guy in the childhood of a lot of these fans.
he is, but they remember him from their childhood, and I don't know.
But
if
I don't think they
remember
recognize
what he looked.
I don't think they
know what he
recognize.
looks like.
I don't
today.
think they recognized him.
Yeah.
But Tully didn't get a big pop either.
No.
But yeah. So as far as yeah, I mean, as far as I thought it was really good, and yeah, those two stood out, but everybody was good. Madison was always in the right spot. I liked the match.
They worked their asses off. There was a Canadian Destroyer spot, which got a huge pop.
Yeah,
Although,
real big.
second biggest pop for a Canadian Destroyer of the weekend. Because when Scarlett Bordeaux hit it on
Trevor Lee.
Lee.
What a big pop that was.
It wasn't only a great pop, it looked so good, and Trevor Lee sold it so great.
Didn't he, though?
That was awesome. But they
Yeah,
had a
that
great
was on
one in
the
this one
AEW
here,
show the night
too.
before, yeah.
Yep, and then Blanchard hit the Hammerlock DDT on Chelsea and got the win.
That finish was flat.
Oh, for the women's match?
Yeah, in the sense, I don't know if it was the referee, but I just like it felt like
Oh, you know
they
what it
were trying
was?
to save it.
Yeah, so they did the deal, and the other two girls were going to jump in but be a little too late. But the timing was a little bit off, so they sort of got there. But the ref counted 3 anyway and then rang the bell. So everyone thought it was a save.
Right.
But the ref said it was a finish. Yeah,
right.
So
right.
that wasn't perfect.
The finish was a little, but yeah.
Yeah, they got a standing ovation for this match.
Was a standing ovation at the end. They had a couple of times during the match where the crowd went absolutely nuts. They were just waiting to go nuts, I think, or something. But yeah, they did a series. Everyone did a series of dives. Just yeah. It was really good.
So we had Cody versus Nick Aldis for the NWA title. So Cody came out with DDP, Tommy Dreamer, and Pharaoh, and he got an enormous reaction.
Glacier too, I think. Wasn't Glacier there?
I don't think Glacier was there.
Okay.
And then Jarrett, Sean Daivari, and what's his name that Aldis beat for the title?
Tim Storm.
Tim Storm was there.
And Samuel Shaw too.
Yep. So Earl Hebner was a referee.
Yeah.
And
They wanted Tony Schiavone to announce, but he had a football game he had to announce.
Oh.
And then they wanted Mike Tenay to announce, but it didn't happen.
Yep.
And I almost announced too. Well, no, that's probably saying too much, but because it never came that close. but Mike Tenay wanted to announce with me.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had an old school title match, tons of heat for Aldis, Cody, gigantic babyface,
Such a big baby.
blood, spots with brandy.
You know what was also good? The main event to a degree, the Kenny Omega Pentagon match, and then this match were the 3 matches where when the match started, the crowd just went crazy before they touched. Like it was just like it was like that. The beginning of a big boxing match.
That's what this felt like, a big old time fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to mention something because there's a spot in this match, and Bruce Mitchell brought this up. So DDP's out there, or he goes to the back, because they sent the entourages to the back.
Yeah.
So Cody's down, and Daivari runs down with like a towel, like he's going to throw in the towel.
But how can you throw in the towel when it was...
I don't know. But anyway, Earl Hebner, whatever they said, I didn't know what they said on commentary, but he throws a towel into the ring. Earl Hebner throws the towel out. Daivari gets in the ring. DDP goes in after him because DDP's out there trying to help Cody, which got a big yoga chant. He's going to heal him with yoga.
Yeah.
So DDP gets in the ring and he gives Daivari this diamond cutter, and the place just loses their shit.
Yeah.
They go to the back, and Bruce noted they had cameos by legends on this show, and none of them were designed to humiliate the old people, the older people. They were all designed to
make
get them
happy.
over
To
and make you happy.
No, they were
your
all designed to
legends
make
that you loved were still cool.
Yeah, everything
Totally
was,
unlike WWE.
Good point. They weren't using them to get cheap heat.
Yes.
They were using them just to make you happy, and they didn't it wasn't for the finish. It was a spot. It was a spot to make you smile that kind of got you into the match, but they went 10 minutes more and had nothing to do with the finish.
And it wasn't like DDP was attacking Aldis. He attacked another guy that ran into the ring. He attacked Daivari. So I just thought, like, up and down the show when they used the legends, they all used them in a very respectful manner to help get them over.
Yeah. Now, the spot with Brandy, that spot was a little weird because essentially Nick Aldis was going to do the elbow off the top, which was a very clean spot, and Cody was there, and Brandy ran in, which in theory she should not have done in the middle of a match.
Well,
it worked because anything was going to work this night.
It was weird because when Earl Hebner was introducing the match, he says this match can only end via pinfall or submission.
I don't know if he was supposed to say that.
I don't either, because then he's counting when they're out on the floor.
Yeah. I think that he, I think he was supposed to say the title can only change hands on pinfall or submission. But because he got really nervous, if you remember, he was losing his lines. So I think that's what he was supposed to say. But I think like if Earl was out of commission, I think that, Aldis should have, whether it's a chair shot or a brass knucks or a low blow or something to where Brandy would be justified to block the elbow, it would have made it make more sense.
Well, the other thing, there were two things on the show that I actually didn't like. One was that she took an elbow to the back.
And then she was
later. Coming out with flip later, and she was totally fine.
And she was fine by the end of the match.
Yeah. And then the other one was in the Omega match. Pentagon broke his arm.
And he was fine too.
But it led to nothing. So,
well, no, it led to a great near fall.
There's one great near fall, but then his arm was totally fine.
Yeah.
So
no, he sold the arm, but not
a little bit, but not like it wasn't an arm breaker.
No.
He got his arm stretched.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't call it an arm breaker, but anyway. So Rhodes made his big comeback and sat down on the sunset flip, won the title, which is great.
The people treated it like they saw the NWA title change hands, like when I was a kid.
Yes,
that's
unbelievable.
It was like
you can get anything over if you do it right.
Yeah. Well, hey, did we talk about the pop the dog got?
The what?
Pharaoh.
Yeah, he was super over.
Pharaoh comes to the ring.
Because you can get anything over.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hangman Page and Joey Janela.
So they were out there doing exactly what I expected they would do.
Everything you would expect. Thankfully, nobody died.
Nobody even got hurt.
No. Who looked really good?
You know who got hurt is Penelope.
And she did. She looked really good in the spots she did.
She sure did. She looked like a freaking superstar.
Yes.
I've never seen her. I mean, I know about her, but I've never, because when Joey Janela comes to PWG, she's not there.
Yeah.
But she's talented.
She's very, very talented.
Yeah.
She did like a top rope, or she did like a dive off the post, great dive. She did the Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Like everything she did looked great.
Crisp, yeah.
And then apparently there was a spot where somebody was throwing tables or chairs or something, and one landed right on her face.
Yeah.
She had this giant.
It wasn't giant, but she had a.
I mean, it was there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely there. Yeah.
But yeah, they went out there. They killed each other. There was a cracker barrel at ringside, which I thought Joey Ryan's body's in this barrel. It didn't end up working out like that. But
no, you know where I thought, except when Penelope Ford, which is her name, Penelope Ford, when she was carrying the bag, which had
the boots.
I thought that Joey was going to be in the bag, except she was carrying it too easily to where I knew there couldn't be a 200-pound.
I thought it was either that or it was going to be like his head.
Joey's head?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be something. I mean, when I saw the bag, I thought this is Joey Ryan coming, because so here, the cool thing about this is, I believe that everybody thought that the finish of this match was Joey Ryan was going to cost Page the match. But in fact, Page won and Joey Ryan came after.
Yes.
So he did not, have anything to do with the finish. But they still got Joey Ryan, which they were all waiting for.
Well, the entrance they did for Joey Ryan was worth him not interfering in the match.
I guess.
He could not have done that.
Yeah.
It was preposterous.
We'll
get to it. So they did there was a burning hammer onto a ladder bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Which was completely insane. There were...
Well, they opened the match. They each do a tope in the first 30 seconds. It's like, as soon as they do that, I'm going like, now where are they going? They start off with that.
Yeah, they went up.
And then Page does the moonsault off the top to the floor, and that was probably within 2 minutes.
Yep.
And that's his biggest spot, although he ended up doing some, bigger stuff. Yeah, it was just insane. The guardrail, Joey Janela jumped off the chair onto the garbage can, flip dive in the aisle. They rolled the barrel, so you thought he was going to roll him over, and then Page did the leapfrog over the barrel.
Yep.
And then they knocked him into the rail. There was the buckshot lariat from the outside in.
Oh, over the guardrail. Yeah,
over the guardrail, and then another one into the ring. The burning hammer on the ladder bridge. Penelope Ford jumped on Paige's back. He threw her off, and then she did Was it diamond cutter under her knee?
It was a couple of different dives, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So finally she has this big bag. She opens up the bag. It's Joey Ryan's boots. And Hangman is
it was Joey Ryan? I thought it was Hangman's boots.
stunned. Hangman's boots, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And Hangman is just stunned.
Because that means I don't even know what it means. Those boots talk.
Yes. Well,
they
he
were-
knew it was trouble.
He knew it was
They
trouble.
were telling him Joey Ryan's alive,
Is that what they were doing?
I guess.
I don't know because I didn't see the boots like move their mouth like they do when Nick does the editing.
So he hits the rite of passage off a ladder.
Oh, that was
Through a
insane.
table for the win.
Off the ladder. I know. Now he actually protected him really well.
He did. It was much safer than it sounds.
Then it,
Yeah.
Then it
The
looked.
burning hammer on the ladder was much scarier than it sounds, actually.
Yeah.
I thought they were dead.
Well,
but this one was safe.
I didn't think. Well, when it was going, when he jumped off, I didn't think it was safe at all.
Yeah.
But when I watched the replay, it was like, yeah, he protected him real well.
So the match ends, the lights go out, and out on the ramp come
8 giant white penises.
8 giant white blow-up penises.
It was so
And
ridiculous.
The place just went, Tony can't even believe his ears. The place went nuts, so
Oh,
to
yeah.
speak.
Oh, they did.
Out comes Joey Ryan.
Giant
place
pop.
goes crazy. He dances down to the ring. He beats the hell out of Hangman. The penises carry Hangman like the Druids carried Undertaker every time he died to the back.
Yeah, well, but he took he took a lollipop out of his trunks,
Yes.
stuck it in Hangman's mouth.
Yes. Super kicked him.
Yeah.
And then they
super kicked him, and then they all carried him to the back.
carried him out.
Yeah.
The business changed forever at that moment.
Oh,
It'll never be the same.
did you know the story? I don't know if this is true or not, but there was a story that people were like trying to send like the stream of this or something on Facebook to Jim Cornette while this is going on. Now Jim Cornette is going to go crazy about if he sees like the end of this match. Between not the burning hammer, but the rites of passage spot, and then the post match with Joey Ryan. And the dick flip, which they did.
They did that at the end. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's before they carried him out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go insane.
Then we had Jay Lethal versus Flip Gordon after Flip won the Battle Royal.
You know, one of the things on this is that they like again, this was not a pure wrestling show, obviously, but based on what we just said. I mean, this was a I hate the term where people go, oh, wrestling versus sports entertainment, because to me it's all entertainment. There's just different ways you do it. And it's like, yeah, okay, the New Japan style is more treated as a sport for sure, but you still do all kinds of wacky stuff there. But here, it was like, there was so much wacky stuff on this show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not like, it worked.
People loved it.
Well, yeah,
it was designed for this audience. They gave this audience what they wanted.
Well, every one of these wacky spots had to do with something that was on being the elite.
Yeah.
Nothing was out of context.
So, I believe that it was Lanny Poffo's idea to do the Randy Savage stuff.
Was it? Well, he was there.
He was there. Well, yesterday I was at the convention, and there was a booth with Jay Lethal and Lanny Poffo. And they're signing together.
Oh, I saw Lanny Poffo, but I didn't see Jay Lethal.
Yeah, he was right there. They were in the same booth. So
yeah.
So when he comes out, well, they're backstage before the match, and Jay Lethal's going to the ring, and a hand slaps him on the shoulder,
and he turns around and
hands him the Macho Man sunglasses, and so he comes out doing the whole black machismo. Comes out with Lanny Poffo.
So he had that. We got to say, the ring jacket that he wore was an authentic Randy Savage ring jacket from 20 years ago that a collector bought a long time ago, and the collector loaned it to Lanny Poffo to give to Jay Lethal to do this match.
Yeah, I guess Lanny said, you want to do the Macho Man thing? I got the thing, and so they did it. So the first half of this match, or the first quarter of this match, Jay Lethal is Macho Man, and he keeps trying to use Brandy as Elizabeth for all of the old spots that they used to do.
Yeah, Brandy was out there, yeah.
People love that.
Oh, when he put her on his shoulders, spot when, and
so
people went crazy at all the symbolism, yeah.
Yep, he does all the Macho Man stuff, and he keeps chasing her, blah, 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 and finally she slaps him, and he turns back into Jay Lethal. Yeah. So then they do a Ring of Honor match, and they go on and they're doing all the usual normal Jay Lethal spots, and then near the end, Lanny hits him again and he turns back into Macho Man.
Lanny wants him to go to the top rope for the elbow.
Yes.
And he's not doing it.
Yep.
So Lanny hits him, and then he goes to the top rope, and didn't he do like 3 of them?
Well, so I guess my understanding is the idea that they had was he was going to do the elbows, and then Flip was going to do either the Hulk Hogan comeback or the Ultimate Warrior comeback.
Well, he did the Hulk Hogan comeback.
And I guess they were going to do the Hogan comeback, but Jay Lethal comes off the top once, twice, 3 elbows, and I'm thinking this is the Macho Man Ultimate Warrior from his retirement match.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he could have done the Warrior Hulk up there, but instead he does Hulk Hogan. But everybody goes crazy.
It would have worked with Warrior, but it would have worked much better with Hogan. Hogan's much more remembered.
Yes.
And the spot, so he starts doing the Hulk up, and everybody immediately knows what he's doing. And they were waiting for the finger point, and they were waiting for the big boot. We did not get the leg drop.
He cut him off for the leg drop. They went back into a normal match, and finally Lethal hit the lethal injection, got the win. And they hug afterwards, and out comes Bully Ray. And he goes down there to attack both guys. Lanny Poffo jumps in the ring. Bully gives him a low blow.
Okay, so that was a time where they did use the old guys for heat. They did do that.
They did do that there, yeah. But he'd been put over the whole match.
But in the end, Bully didn't leave with heat because they laid
him out. Yeah,
they did the was up spot on Bully Ray with
Yep.
Colt Cabana. And then they did the Shield Power Bomb with was it Flip, Colt, and was it Lanny?
I think.
Who are the 3 guys that did the Shield Power?
Cabana, Flip Gordon, and Lethal.
Jay Lethal, right. Yeah, they did the Shield Power Bomb, which I think that people were a little on that one.
Yeah.
In the sense of maybe it's too soon, or it's copying a modern thing. But that one didn't get the pop I expected.
Kenny Omega, Penta.
People just went nuts for the people saw it as like a dream match.
Yeah, it was just a great match. I mean, like I said, my one complaint was the arm breaker. The arm breaker, I didn't like it because he didn't sell the arm, but the near fall that they got when Penta hit the arm breaker and then the package pile driver, they lost their shit when Kenny kicked out of that.
Oh yeah,
and
that they went so. There were a couple of just giant standing ovations in the middle of the match.
Yep,
and that one right there, that was actually towards the end of the match. You know what, on this match is a lot of matches like maybe go a little long, a little short. I thought like this match was like perfectly timed. You know what I mean? It was like, as soon as they did that spot, this guy who was sitting next to me just goes, they're going to go like 10 more minutes. I go, they're going 2 more minutes. And I think they went exactly 2 more minutes. It was like, it just, they got that giant pop, and it's like, they're not going to get another pop that big, but that wasn't a finish pop because it wasn't the finish. I think that there was the feeling, what was really good about this match, and also really Okada Marty Scurll, is that I think deep down, everyone in the building knew that Omega was winning and they knew that Okada was winning.
Yes.
But they completely bought that. Once he did that package pile driver on the apron, people were so willing to believe that Penta could win the match.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, too, is like, that arm breaker spot has been protected so well, especially if you watch Lucha Underground. Like in Lucha Underground, if he breaks your arm, you're off TV for like months. So they protected that so well, and the package pile driver so well that was enough to make people believe. And I do think that in the Skrull match, I think that most people thought there's no chance Skrull is winning. But because Okada has done, he's done jobs lately, I think there were people that thought, you know what?
It could be the Sabre, the Sabre match in England.
Yep, maybe he could beat him here.
They bought a lot of those near falls.
They bought a lot of the near falls, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to this match. So Omega hits a V-trigger, inverted Hurricane Rana, and then the V-trigger one-winged angel gets the win. So after the match, and I thought this was clever, by the way, after the match, the lights go out. And they actually had someone in the dark run from backstage down the ramp. So if you were in the building, you were looking, presuming that this was somebody that was going to run in. But then when they almost got to the ring, the lights came back on, and it was nobody. But Pentagon's in the ring. So Omega goes over, I guess, to help him up, and Pentagon runs wild on him. And just the way he moves, everybody knew it was Chris Jericho.
Everybody was Jericho, yeah.
They knew long before he took off the match.
Well,
the
he
mask.
did the Codebreaker twice, too.
Well, yeah, but even before that, like as soon as he started laying forearms, and everybody knew it was Jericho.
They recognized the tattoo on the arm.
Yeah, so he starts laying into the guy, and he takes the mask off. It's Chris Jericho. The place just loses their shit. He hits 2 Codebreakers, and the whole thing was he says,
I'll see you on the cruise.
I'll see you on the Jericho cruise.
I'll see you
and
on
I
the
thought,
cruise.
this is the smartest fucking guy. He is a genius at showing up like he's just.
I think he had a concert tonight in Kansas City too.
Yeah, he had like a Fozzy concert.
Yeah, I think he was. But we knew he was in the area.
He was close.
Yeah,
he was close enough to be here.
I think he's got maybe Wisconsin on Monday.
Yeah,
I don't know the schedule, but we knew there was a pretty solid chance he was going to do a surprise visit here. But here's the thing. So now it is official. He worked on a show that Vince McMahon would not have wanted him to work on that was in the United States.
Well, so did Ray.
But Ray had already committed and he wasn't going to break the commitment.
Yeah.
Jericho, Vince McMahon didn't want people here. I mean, there were some people here, but he didn't want
people at StarCast, much less at the show.
Not on this show. He sure did not want them.
Yep. But anyway, then he went over and shoved the announce table, and Callis took a bump.
Yeah.
So if you saw him down, that's what happened. Okada and Skrull, as noted, this went 12 minutes longer than it was supposed to.
I couldn't believe watching this match because I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking like this is going to go about 14 minutes, which is in fact
how long
exactly
it was supposed to go.
I'm going like this is going to go 14 minutes, and then it just kept going and going, and it did get better and better.
It did. I mean, that's the one thing. Like midway through this match, I mean, the people liked it, but it did not have great heat. And they just kept going, and they kept going. And by the end, they got him.
Oh, they had him at the end.
But they went long. And
they didn't listen, But
yeah, I don't know.
The
Young Bucks, for all they did, they deserved to have their 24-minute match.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it got cut to 12.
And it's too bad because it's not, like they can do another match with, they could do a match where they bring in Kota Ibushi and do this.
Yeah, but they can never have this match on the show again.
But they can do it with Ray Phoenix, and they can do it with Bandito, and they could do it with Flamita as the third guy, but they can't do it with Ray. And that was the one thing is you couldn't recreate that one match. But the one thing also in this match is, God, Okada was the drop kick he threw at the end. He always does a good drop kick, but that one was like his missile drop kick was incredible, and his the drop kick he did at the end. I mean those were so strong. And, it was basic Okada, and I thought Marty Scurll was
It was the biggest match of his life, he said, basically.
Yeah, I thought
he was going to go out there and do everything.
Marty Scurll was tremendous. He did more than he usually does. What was funny was early in the match when Marty Scurll hit the brainbuster, the crowd really popped for that.
It was an incredible-looking brainbuster.
It was a great look. Like, I was surprised because it's not his signature move, but the people were into this heavyweight thing. And they did that skit. Well, here's the other thing where I think this in its own reverse way worked, is they had whoever those guys are, and the two guys who were pointing the finger that Marty broke their fingers.
Oh yeah, backstage, yeah.
The backstage guy, they're being the elite characters, so they're scolding Marty, and one of them goes, "Well, we all know what's going to happen in this match. You're going to look really, really good, and you're going to come close, and then you're going to lose." And which is actually
exactly what happened.
But and everyone in the building knew that that's what was going to happen. I think by telling them that, they were sitting there going like, "Maybe Marty's going to win," because they'll never do what they just told us they're going to do. But it actually was what they did.
It actually, by the end, I don't know what. So Skrull hit him with a Rainmaker, his own move, and Okada kicks out. And I think the story of the match was, once that didn't work, he wasn't winning, and Okada just like 2 Rainmakers, laid him out, covered him 1, 2, 3. Like the story of this match was Okada's the better man. That was it.
Well, I think the story
Skrull came close, but Okada on this evening is the better professional wrestler.
I think the story of everything was that Okada and Omega are the 2 best guys in the world.
Well, yeah, that's been.
But I mean, if you're in the building, like. As great as the Cody Rhodes pop was and the emotion and everything like that, I just thought that watching Okada and Omega in those long singles matches, that you just had this thing. Because when I'm watching like the Omega match with Pentagon, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's United States, and again, it didn't have super heat. I mean, well, the crowd was going crazy at the very beginning, then it was a little bit quiet, and then like at the first couple of minutes, you're kind of going like, well, this is really no different from an AJ Styles beginning of a match. You know what I mean? But by the end, it was like, no, it really, and I'm a big AJ fan, but it was just. He really had something that's just a little bit better. And then Okada was out there, and it wasn't Okada doing your Okada match. Okada was doing the match to put Marty Scurll over the entire match in certain ways before beating him at the end. So that was kind of the story.
And then the moment the match ends,
they rush.
There's a graphic on the screen for the main event. They hit that music, and these guys are on their way down to the ring.
Also, Okada, when his music hit, that was a pretty damn huge pop.
Oh yeah,
I would say like Cody and Omega, I would say would be the two biggest, but Okada might have been right after that. You know, and of course the Young Bucks because it's their show.
Yeah. So anyway, they rush these guys down to the ring. They rush them in there. They do the announcements, and bam, the match is going.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody knew. Like looking at the clock, it's like, man, there's 13 minutes left till the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And they're starting now. And man, like, it sucks they got the time cut, but it is really amazing.
It's a great match.
This 12 minutes that they put together, and just bam, 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 bam. The place, there was not one moment where the crowd wasn't going nuts for something. I mean, it was just like, this was a perfectly timed sprint to get to the end of the show. They pulled everything off. Everything looked great. Everybody looked great. And, God, Bandito's awesome. We've been talking about that forever. Phoenix is awesome. The Bucks are great. Kota Ibushi's Kota Ibushi. Rey Mysterio gets in there with Ibushi, and the place, they literally, they crawl through the ropes, and the moment both of their feet are on the mat inside the ring, the place goes nuts, and both of them froze. Like, they just stopped like this. And everyone's just looking at him and going absolutely nuts because they're going to see Rey Mysterio and Kota Ibushi wrestle. And then they wrestled, and they were great. Rey was awesome.
They only got to do like a spot or two.
Hey,
it was great. I mean, it was
great.
It was great, but everything was great.
Yep.
That freaking Bandito, god damn.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's going to be he's going to be a big deal. And Phoenix, Phoenix is one of the most talented guys in this entire business.
8 million dives, dive off the post to the floor onto everybody. Train wreck spot.
Matt did the stage dive.
Yep, Matt did the stage dive with Okada Bills all over the stage. Very slippery.
Yes,
he was scared to death, but he did it. And then finally at the end,
Nick did like a really insane dive, and Bandito did like a really insane dive. No, didn't he do like a corkscrew something or other spinning?
Dude, there was 8 million things there. There was
Ray did a top rope Asai moonsault.
Yep, he did a top rope Asai and everybody. And the only fitting finish for the show, Dave, the Meltzer driver, that had to be the finish.
I always kept telling you it wasn't going to be the finish, but
it was.
It was the finish.
It's the only finish that made sense. They pinned Bandito.
They teased it once.
Yep.
They totally like I knew that they would tease it, but they
they pinned Bandito, and then boom, shows off the air, and then they did the big speech afterwards, the rah-rah speech for the fans.
Nobody left.
0 people left.
Nobody left. It was incredible until Kenny Omega allowed people to leave.
Yeah.
But Cody does the speech, and then Cody goes, I want to present you with the, what do you say, like the leader of the Bullet Club? Because he put over Omega in a way where it's like this feud's over.
Yeah. Yeah, they just thanked everybody for coming, said it was because of everybody there who wanted an alternative, and they got it, and they were sticking together, and he acts like he's going to announce All In 2, and then says, I'm really not making an announcement right here.
There's no
We're thinking about it. And everybody boos.
Yeah.
But then he saved it. He jumped back into his speech again and saved it. But I thought, they turned themselves heel right at the end of the show just by not announcing another one.
They didn't turn themselves heel. But Cody did say double or nothing, right?
He did say. He said when I make a bet.
That means I don't.
Sometimes it's double or nothing.
That I have to bet him again.
Dude, it's $2.
Man, Man,
Yeah.
oh, man.
I did immediately tweet if you thought they could draw 15,000. I should have said
No.
I should have said like 30.
No, I said I will bet him on 30. I mean, I hope I lose, and I'm not saying I wouldn't, because the freaking Garden, if they did that Garden show at Citi Field, I wonder if they could have get 30. Because the thing is, part of the draw of the Garden show is the idea of seeing somebody in Madison Square Garden, which it would not be in Citi Field, even though there's more seats.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same market. The Garden was part of the draw on that one. So I wonder how, but we don't know how many they would have drawn tonight. I don't know. Do you hear anything? I got the impression Honor Club fizzled.
I didn't hear anything about Honor Club. I heard that the audio. I heard there were some people had problems with Fight TV. I heard that there were some audio problems on. I don't know if it was the first hour or later on. I didn't hear anyone say anything about Honor Club, actually. Positive or negative.
I heard a couple people said the Honor Club froze up. I don't know if it was for everyone, but I definitely heard that. Yeah, I heard that the sound on the WGN at the beginning wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, we'll see how big it. I'll see how big it was. You know, part of the thing of being nice, if that's the right word, of telling everyone you could get it on Honor Club, you know, that did hurt the
pay-per-view.
The pay-per-view. It would have been, you know, I think that I would have just said exclusively on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have to. I mean, I know why they did it. I mean, the reality is that you know, whatever is going to happen, you know, whether it does or doesn't, you know, Ring of Honor had a lot to do with the show. I mean, Gary Juster, you know, pretty much was their, you know, whatever it is, he was their mentor on how to do a show.
Yeah.
Gary Juster was. When I asked Cody last night, I go, "Who are the unsung heroes on the show?" And I was expecting certain names, and he said, you know, he basically said Conrad Thompson and Gary Juster. And he said, you know, Gary Juster told him how to rent buildings, how to talk to the people to rent the buildings, you know, everything that you need to know to promote a show. You know, these guys never promote a show, and I guess Gary was like a really big help to them.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's an after party going on right now. Any other thoughts on
we should talk a bit.
StarCast?
We did two things. I liked them.
Yep. You know. The Fight.tv. We did a panel with Wade Keller and Bruce Mitchell.
That
which
seemed to go well.
I thought was a lot of fun. And
I liked ours better though the next day. Just personally, even though I had nothing against them, I liked the questions better on our show this morning.
Well, the Fight.tv one I think is up if you want to get the replay on Fight.tv, and apparently we've got the audio, so we'll be putting the audio up for subscribers in a few days as soon as I get back. And then we did the Q&A today, which the audio is already up and the video is already up if you want to go check those out. And that one was also a lot of fun. We met so many cool people. So I want to say thank you to everybody that we met.
Yeah, everybody was, especially the thing we did this morning. But I mean the other one too.
Yeah, everyone.
The people were really, really cool. Yeah, without a doubt. You know, it was really wonderful. This was a fantastic weekend.
It's a great weekend.
Yeah, it really was. This was really one of the highlight weekends of my year.
Yep, everybody was super nice. I had way more fun here than at WrestleManias, and I mean, I really enjoy going to WrestleMania. I enjoy the shows, but this was like our audience was here.
Our audience, but also there was a sense of history tonight.
Yeah, this was a very historic show.
A sense of, I don't want to say a change in the business because who knows what's going to happen, but.
Well, it is a symbol that the business has changed one way or the other.
Yeah, it's just,
like whether this specific event changes everything is irrelevant. I mean, it's important, but the important thing is it is a symbol that things have changed.
Well, it did change because it led to the Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah,
and the Madison Square Garden show was huge. Now, I mean, as far as you know, one of the things I was thinking is if there's TV execs, WGN in the building, and they're watching this. So here's my thoughts, okay? The crowd atmosphere and everything like that, I would sit there and go, this is the ground floor of something that may be big. If I'm a TV exec and I'm here, and WGN people were there, I think that the penis stuff, I think that And I think that
Yeah, but if you're an exec, you can tell them we don't want any inflatable penises.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to
No,
sour you on the deal.
the other one was when Jordan Grace got kicked in the face.
Well, yeah. Hey, listen.
And I know it worked. But
they can lay down some ground rules.
Yeah.
And
Jordan Grace got over big.
Yeah.
But when she got kicked in the face, and you know, the Brandy elbow, but the Brandy elbow, I think the kick in the face is worse than the elbow off the top.
Well, because the kick in the face is a man is intentionally kicking a woman in the face.
Whereas
the elbow off the top, he was aiming for the guy, and the girl jumped on him.
Yeah, but also it's a pro wrestling move. You know what I mean? Where a kick in the face.
Well, one is accidental, and one was premeditated.
I guess you could say
that's the big difference.
Yeah. So those were the ones where I'm going like, if I'm an executive, but when I say that, I think that the good way outweighed the negative.
Yes.
If anyone's watching this, I think that the key thing you're going to get out of this is that this was a great audience. It was a fantastic crowd. It was a sold-out crowd that was there to have a good time. They had a good time.
You couldn't have had a better crowd.
No, and these guys can put together a fantastic pro wrestling show.
Yeah.
I mean, a better pro wrestling show than WWE, a better sports entertainment show than the people who were supposed to be the masters of sports entertainment. That was so if you're one of those people who go, hardcore wrestling, blah, blah, blah. But this was not hardcore
this
wrestling.
was storylines paying off like they should be paying off in WWE if they
allowed
stories to be told over more than a day.
Yeah. So there's that. So we went to AEW last night.
Yep. What a show that was.
That was interesting. So it was Flamita and Bandito against Myron Reed and AR Fox, who really had a hell of a match.
They had a very, very good match.
Yeah, and then Sami Callihan had a very noteworthy match.
He had a very, very
with Jimmy Jacobs.
Noteworthy. They had a hardcore match, and it's a hardcore match. They're brawling all over the building. They end up on the stage, and there are a bunch of non-folding chairs.
Yeah,
regular chairs. And so Sammy throws Jimmy Jacobs down. He puts a table on top of him. He starts throwing chairs on top of the table. 1 chair, 2 chair, 3 chairs. Now he's slamming 4 chair, 5 chair, 6 chair. We're all watching this. And suddenly this voice over the loudspeaker goes, "Hey, asshole, quit breaking our chairs."
I know.
And I'm like,
uh-oh.
What the fuck's going on?
It's like Legion Larry.
And he starts throwing chairs, and then the voice goes, "Well, you're going to pay for them at the end of the night." And I'm like, what is happening?
It's Legion
there was
Larry
like part of me
Lucida.
that thought they're just trying to get over Sammy's character because he's still throwing chairs.
Oh, no.
That was my initial thought.
No, I didn't think that for a second.
Then the security goes up there, and security starts yelling at Sammy.
Yeah.
And like they fight down to the floor again, and they keep doing their match, but like this one security guy's yelling at Sammy, and then they go to the finish or whatever, and then as they're leaving for the back, Sammy and the security guard are screaming at each other, and there are people in between them and everything like that. And I was like, what? This is very awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Very awkward.
Well, here's the other thing, too. That match, the crowd was super hot, and I guess before we got there for that match.
We rushed in.
We missed several matches, and apparently the crowd was super hot for the matches that we missed. But this definitely this match took the crowd down.
It did, because it was so bizarre.
Well, but even before, the brawling in the crowd, because of the nature of so many people on the floor without elevated seats, so many people were missing. We had great.
We were in the balcony, so we saw everything.
We could see everything. But I think that all that brawling on the floor, the audience took the audience out of the match.
Yep.
So, but there was did Sammy deck the guy, or he throw a punch?
All I can tell you is the story that I heard is that Sammy thought the security guard that he was arguing with was a trainee.
Okay.
And so he punched the guy, but it was the security guard. I don't know if he punched him hard or it was a work punch or whatever, but obviously the security guard was upset.
I would guess it was probaby a worked punch, but still.
Still, you swung, and so then they were in the back.
Didn't he pull out a gun on him?
I don't want to get in trouble for this. I'm just saying what I heard.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
He flashed it, meaning he didn't take it out, but he put his hand like, "I got a fucking gun right here.
Okay.
You better calm down."
Okay.
And then Sammy was told to leave.
Yeah, he told to leave the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the story from there.
And then So what else? We saw ACH and Jeff Cobb.
ACH and
Brody King.
Brody King.
And Jeff Cobb was in the tag team match.
Jeff Cobb was in a tag match.
It was Jeff. Who was his partner against?
It was Jeff Cobb and Eddie Kingston.
So they're the tag team champions.
They're the tag team champions.
They won the titles on Thursday night.
Yep.
Against the besties in the world.
Yep.
And that was
the match where
Penelope
Scarlett hit
Scarlett Bordeaux.
Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, on Trevor Lee, because Trevor Lee was in the other corner.
Yep.
So Trevor Lee and Eddie Kingston and Jeff Cobb are all like in the wrestling stable.
Yes.
That's like a heel stable there.
Yep.
It's a stable. And so, yeah, ACH and Brody King got a concussion, right?
Brody King apparently got a concussion a minute in, and he still did the entire match, and he didn't remember any of it.
And he won the title.
He won the title, so...
How did he remember to win the title?
I mean, he remembered to do the whole match. I mean, it was a pretty good match. I didn't see most of it.
Yeah,
but,
we were talking to people.
We were talking to people, but, I mean, the crowd seemed to like it, and
they definitely liked the title change.
Yeah, so Brody King's awesome, in case anyone's unaware.
Yeah, ACH is awesome, too.
Yeah.
He's a really talented guy.
So that was that, and then there were 8 million panels here today.
So how did Eric Bischoff do? Oh, that's right. I didn't want to talk about Eric Bischoff.
And then you bring it up.
And I just brought it up.
Yeah, I do have a photograph of Artie Reynolds and Eric Bischoff holding hands leaving the building. So apparently everything turned out okay there at the end.
Yeah, when Eric admitted that he's actually never read the book and that he was debating.
And thought you wrote it?
He thought I wrote the frickin' book.
Yeah.
He's thought this for 15 years.
Well, so what's he yelling at me for then?
That's right.
Why do we get each other in trouble all the time?
No, but he said you were chicken of him. Did
yeah.
he say that?
Hey, listen,
ridiculous.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to make this very quick. Okay, here's the story.
You wrote the book.
They approached me a while ago.
Oh, they did approach you.
And they said this was months ago. They said, so you're doing a thing with Dave, and then you guys got your own thing. What if we did a panel and it was like you and Bischoff and Russo, and like right there, I was like, dude, I ain't doing this. Okay, like I thank you very much, but I'm not interested in doing this. Okay,
wait, no way.
So I said no. So then he asked RD, and RD, co-author, wrestle crap. He's like, fuck it, if it's going to be a disaster, great, I'll have material. So he said he'd do it.
Yeah.
So then somehow this morphed into me chickening out of doing it, not wanting to do it. I was never going to do this.
No,
I didn't no-show it either. We had our own thing at the same time, for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, I would have never in a million years done that. That's
ridiculous.
A complete waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other stuff was going on.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, a lot
tons of people here.
Tons of people here. I saw Medusa. I haven't seen her in 20 years.
Yeah, with the Medusa. I mean, we could rattle off 9,000 people that showed up. Yeah. We did our meet and greet, and Kevin Nash wanders in.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he's supposed to be. And so he just started taking pictures with the people with us.
Yeah, he did. That's right.
Yeah.
He did.
Then he wandered out again.
Yeah.
Scott Hall was here.
Sean Waltman.
Waltman's here, yep.
Yeah, but I mean, Diamond Dallas Page, obviously.
Yeah, DDP, all those guys. Everybody's here, so...
It was. I will say, as far as like a convention thing, the people were exceedingly willing to spend money. I heard that the high spots grossed more money than they do WrestleMania week or something like that. As far as selling merchandise, I don't think more than like the. It couldn't be more than that, though, could it? Because I've seen the high spot stuff at WrestleMania week. It's freaking mobbed.
Yeah, but this is a different crew that's here.
I guess. The Brody doc, which we didn't see, unfortunately, but people raved about that.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about Raw? We've got Raw on Monday.
We do have to mention Raw here very quickly. So Raw's got a tag team title.
Yeah, the Revival against the B Team.
Revival against B Team. The Bellas...
God, I hope it's not like 50-50 and it's their turn to lose and all that. Probably is, though.
Dave's already depressed about Raw. And then the Bellas return against the Riot Squad.
The Bellas are back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and there is another piece of news.
Shawn Michaels?
Oh, yeah, Shawn Michaels is going to be there on Monday. And maybe The Undertaker, too, as well.
Yeah.
So, the world of sport, I guess, is going to be doing a 9-show tour.
That's quite interesting.
Yep. Early January and February 2019. January 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 27, and 1, 2, and 3 around New York.
That means that they're going to have to renew if it's in January.
Well...
So that's a good sign.
I guess that is a good sign. It's a good sign for everybody that wants to see this WWE UK show, I'll tell you that much. So
Oh
that's
yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
They may do a pay-per-view in January because of that or something.
It's possible, yeah.
No, actually, I don't know. I mean, they can now though. There's like no reason at all not to do a UK pay-per-view. I mean, there never was.
No.
But they used to think because of the time change and everything like that. And there is a little bit of that argument. I mean, there's the logistical argument, but at this point, there's no more argument for that because it's the network. You can put it up and people will watch it whenever they watch it. You know, you can do it in the after. They did that. They did live shows from the UK already.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, so it's not a problem.
I want to say two other things. First off, I flew here
With Kevin Sullivan.
sitting next to Kevin Sullivan for 3.5 hours.
Well, that probably made the flight just go.
Dude, it
quick.
was the best flight I've ever been on in my life.
Really. That's well. I guess flights are usually not that memorable.
Flights are not very memorable. Yeah, we talked about the Varsity Club. We talked about the Dungeon of Doom. We talked about his great-grandfather, John L. Sullivan, or grandfather. I'm not sure which it was, but that is what he claimed.
I don't know about that.
And you're skeptical?
I'm skeptical.
Didn't you say when he first debuted he was Kevin L. Sullivan?
No. When he came to San Francisco, he was Kevin L. Sullivan.
Kevin L. Sullivan, yeah.
Kevin L. Sullivan with Bob Roop, and then they dropped the L after a little while.
But you know what I liked about him was he follows everything today, and he goes to places like MLW and Defy, and he knows the young guys.
He does know the young guys, yeah.
And I thought that he was a really smart guy.
Well, Kevin's a smart guy.
Yeah,
I've known him for I've known him for a long time.
Super smart, super nice guy.
Very, very charming guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to say that we were at all of this stuff at StarCast. We weren't standing in line for stuff, so I can't really speak. I know some people said that there were things about StarCast that they thought were disorganized. I felt that if they do this again, you've got to go to this thing.
Oh, it was awesome.
I thought this thing was like
I will
incredible.
I will say like you said, I probably had more fun this weekend than, almost any weekend this year. Maybe I've had some weekends with my kids in some ways that were more fun when I took my kids. Well, I probably did have more fun when I took my son and his girlfriend to PWG. But that was because we did a ton of
you
wrestling.
did tons of family
but
stuff.
I mean, family stuff. But I mean, as far as a wrestling weekend, this ranks up there with anything.
Maybe the first time we met, King of Indies. That was an awesome.
This was more fun than that.
But that was an awesome.
I mean, that was awesome. That was awesome historically because we got to see Loki and Bryan Danielson, all those guys, Samoa Joe, and all those guys in that setting. That was an awesome historical thing, and it was fun. And it was fun because I met you for the first time. But I would say that this was probably in it. If it wasn't for that, this would be more fun.
Yeah, I think this
was more fun than. I'm trying to think like the Mania. I mean, I have fun at the Mania trips, but I was much happier here than at the Mania.
Yeah,
trips.
and everybody. I don't know.
The talent's so cool.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to say this: when I go to some of these Access shows and you see the wrestlers there, and there's a long line of people, and I'm not saying that everyone is not nice. Like everyone's nice to everybody, but like
it's different.
They're just there and they're doing their job to be there. I'm sure they're happy to meet the people. Okay, but like
not at this level though. This is
the
different.
wrestlers here were so happy to be here. And they were having so much fun.
You know why? Because these are hungry young wrestlers, and this is the biggest weekend of all of. Like I said, of 80% of the wrestlers on this card or more, this was the biggest night of their career and the biggest weekend of their career, and they're here early, and it's like this. It's like they've never been to a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This is their WrestleMania.
Yep.
And it's their first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All of them. So they're, they got that starstruck thing to them about this weekend. It's their so it was just like a completely different experience. So there's another thing is when we were back, it's so interesting to me because there's a lot of guys from the previous generation, Pat Patterson, Jerry Briscoe, Ed Leslie was here.
Yeah.
DDP. But so you got that generation, and you got our generation. Well, it's actually not even our generation. It's the generation of people younger than us. The Kenny Omega, that and Cody and their generation. Okay, but I'm watching. It's so, it's like the same business and the same goals. They're so different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like one generation, they, where's the beer? You know what I mean?
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
I know this because like Matt, when Defy started,
Yeah.
Matt was always asking me to go to Defy. Come backstage, go to Defy, blah, blah, blah. And for a long time, I didn't do it because I had memories of what it was like back there in like the late 90s and early 2000s when I would be back there. Just a bunch of douchebags. Everyone's a dick. It's just like, I really don't want to do this.
Oh,
and so finally I went back there.
All the fake talking.
Everything. It was just a bunch of bullshit, okay?
Yeah,
I hated that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I think it was actually Filthy that told me this first because he's out on the indie scene. And he had been a wrestler before MMA.
Right.
He trained in like 2006, 2007. And one day he just says to me, he goes, it's totally different now.
It's so
Everybody's so nice.
No, but see, I'm
But anyway, let me do this.
Okay,
so I went to Defy, and sure as shit, like everybody is so nice. And then I started going to more shows, and then around no, like really, actually nice people.
And I mean they yeah. So the thing is like but I've been around this generation of guys for a couple of years, so it's like it's different, but I didn't really think of it. But when I see both generations together in the same room, it's like the contrast. It's like, oh my God, I remember, in the 80s with WWF or in the 90s with WWF and how those guys were, and they're cool and they're in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's and some ways there's some.
Not everybody's a douchebag at all.
No. Well, yeah. But I mean, it's not. But how would I say it? It's like it's different, and there's positives about the older guys too. But it's so refreshing.
It feels much more sincere now.
But it's just refreshing. I feel so much better for the business. It's what it is. And it's funny because I tell people this all the time. It's like for my entire life until the last few years, this was a freaking con man business with all those guys. Whether it's I can name all the guys from that era.
Yep.
It's a con man business, and they all tried to everyone tried to outcon everyone. And I was there with Pillman trying to outcon the con men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all, it's like, or whatever, Bruiser Brody or whoever these guys are, I mean, but all of them, even like Terry Funk, who was like, but it's still, manipulating and all this. And I don't feel like this is a con man business. I feel this is an entertainment business.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool entertainment business. It's so different. It's like, I mean, before when I started doing this, it's like, this is con man and this is the con they're running on you and all that. And now it's just like, this is entertainment. It's really cool. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, but it's really cool entertainment. And I just, it's like there's pluses and minuses, and there's certain things about the characters, and some of the characters of the past were really wonderful characters, but they were characters. Like I mean, they were gimmicks. You know what I mean? Those guys, the guys that they're just gimmicks.
Yes.
And it's like these guys aren't, they're really not gimmicks.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be a few. Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, he'd happily admit it.
Oh yeah,
he showed up in his sunglasses and his.
I mean, Brian Pillman Jr. is a throwback.
Yes.
But most, and I don't mean that in a bad way in the least. But
no, friendly, nice guy.
Yeah, really.
But he's definitely trying to be somebody.
He's trying. Yeah, he's trying to be some. I mean, I was really thrilled to meet him. I mean, that was actually. I mean, the people I wanted to meet this weekend. I mean, I wanted to see Terry Funk real bad, and he's not here, which is not good. Yeah, unfortunately. And Brian, because we had him on the show, but I really wanted to meet him, and he came to our Q&A thing. So that was I think there's another reason why I it was just fun, and it's, again, seeing Medusa, I haven't seen in years and years and years, and also just the feeling of what else? It's like there's a feeling of everyone will talk to you, but I can't talk to you. It's like this whole group, nobody gives a shit about.
No, they don't care one bit.
It's like, if you told these people, oh, don't talk to him, you go like, what are you talking about? They wouldn't, it's not even in their minds.
Yeah.
It's like the people go, oh, who's talking to you? Who's talking to you? It's like, this is a different business. This is like, and it's even nicer than the MMA guys. I mean, these are really just guys that are just working really hard, and they're trying to. They work so hard to put on a show, sometimes too hard.
Yeah.
But they're out there trying to give you great wrestling matches. Everybody's out there trying to do that. When the thing started, and Kenny Omega goes, my match is going to steal the show. I'm going, oh my God, he's going to work so freaking hard because I know what Joey Janela and Hangman are going to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, but he may have had the best match. I don't know, I mean, a lot of, again, I have to watch it all back because where we were, but the Cody match was the most emotional match.
Yep.
I thought the Kenny Omega match was the best wrestling match. I thought the Young Bucks match was phenomenal for what the time that they had. It was unbelievable for the time they had. And Joey Janela and Hangman was completely insane. And
the best Battle Royal in decades.
Battle Royal was great live, I'll tell you that. And it was so well, yeah. So, yeah, awesome show, historical night. There you go.
All right, we're out of here, everybody. We'll be back on Monday night after Raw with more. Thanks, everybody, for this weekend. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, everyone.
Can't tell you how much we appreciate it,
everyone
actually.
who's listening, if we met you, I love this weekend.
Yeah, so thanks so much, everybody, and we will talk to you again after a while.